1995 96 enso yiriwa my former president Lawrence at the boat said dano and I'm the huno medi hu no or the before overhead yasia kofa new plan hono and then or starting here got an kese free asie hono mo baby astras one na the buyer ebesin kosi alajo that time no mo nye ne sa na got nwura won and ono be ye ne cement entiemu ye kese no ensuo to a de na ebro got an so no na etimi fa no sese enso enipa do na edoso first airport nyina na ye nwura ensuo to a na ekofom ba obi to asase na so osida na oprape ensuo no nkwa asase ni mu biem efa asase nani enti ensuo na ba be bro gota na so gota ba akupe na president Akufo nso beto aso de ko achimota no eno na efa the whole Accra ensuo na bro so na odo na gota ekra ba bi omo ye ho shi sesi ye e ben gota no adenti na president ni ye market ma wom uye president na se udi nipa no achi se obabi onipa ni bedi odi obedi nti no ama otirimu anye den a why ye gota ho pe why ye market amom inside of say gota na eketua no on be creative from be je gota ne kese be 3 e dia ka ho na atimi afa nsuo no mo dia ye market e na eja to afa service for kra entimi nya den enwura mu wo ho no etimi dia mansem America etietia ne se nsuo no dooso esen gota no enti omuntu odo na free market no ne kwale ni mu no no mun criticize odo na we say no I gota na president Lawrence ye obi emu no omunya sa be 3 se 4 enka wonko kwale nim se nsuo na free aburi bepo no so ni ade ba no se entimi mfa no ma enkrofo ho nto mo a udwen se obe ho na obiti e na odidi ye na yidi a ene de emwa yen de bia nipa bewu.
And so that's the concern from Stephen Bisa. He says that his concern is that the poor drainage system, especially with the gutters here, is very bad, and that's the cause of these incidents we are seeing today. However, we understand this person who suddenly, unfortunately, has lost their life is a Muslim. For that reason, I could see a change of ambulance. They've brought the Muslim ambulance here. Stephen Mensah, who is my colleague, is also here, and then he's joining me. So we understand the extent. He's been monitoring the situation. I mean, Stephen, you also walked to where you were this morning. Tell us where exactly you were.
Well, this is definitely not the information we wanted to hear this evening or today, given the early morning rains and what we encountered, what we spoke to, the things we heard from some of these individuals, the drivers, the residents, and the traders who were here. In fact, since we got here, we've monitored the situation. We've gone all through to the Circle station, to the New Plant station, and as we reported earlier, the situation has eased up a bit. You'll notice that there's easy flow of traffic here at the Circle interchange. The overpass is open now currently for traffic, but then there's been a diversion. There's traffic that will be moving from Circle or to that ordinarily will be moving to Adabraka has eased up a bit. So these individuals will be diverting their route from the overpass and they'll be moving through the inner parts of Adabraka and they'll be going to Accra and other parts of Accra. But then, Ramat, that's basically what we are saying will be definitely not the information we wanted to hear, definitely not the news we wanted to hear. The Ghana and armed forces are currently quite aggressive. They are telling us that no one should record, no one should ensure any video, and this is the precaution they are making to us and the caution they are throwing at us that we shouldn't record anything given the circumstances regarding the whole situation, the loss of life and basically everything that's happening. But then one other thing, Ramat, we've seen will be the Ghana National Fire Service are trying to make a different bypass. They are using a different route to try and contain the fire from a different angle. I don't know if you've seen it, but then that's the new twist to this whole fire incident. Absolutely,
Stephen. Like you mentioned, many of them are still trying to ensure that they are able to bring the blaze under control. However, the incident is still as it is in the morning. I mean, most of them we just spoke to, they tell us that they could see that the fire is actually spreading to other parts of the markets. But now their focus is that, as you can see, the atmosphere here is kind of solemn. People are sad because unfortunately one person has been confirmed dead. And speaking to them, interestingly, they seem not to be admitting some of the things that they do themselves. We just had one man tell us that, no, you see, this thing that is happening in this country is not obviously as just a system failure. However, our behaviors are part of whatever is happening. This is some of the things that people are failing to admit. But obviously, when we spoke to this gentleman, he tells us that people actually dump refuse in these gutters, and he can confirm, because there are gutters all over where we are right now. There are gutters all over. And so what is the problem? The problem is that all the drainage systems here are choked. I mean, the honorable member says that MP for Kwale herself, the major desilting things needs to be done here, and then we shouldn't be just reactive. And so it tells us that there is more that we need to do, especially because this thing is not the first time it's happening. Like we've been saying, when you move away from this place, we are just at where the June 3 disaster occurred. And so do we seem to be experiencing whatever we experienced for over a decade? I mean, this is more than 10 years now, and the same situation painfully still exists. People every day get stranded. NADMO always bringing relief items. The people who are stranded today tells us that their major worry is that they do not know where they will sleep, because their concern obviously is not about getting them a relief item, but where they will get their heads to lie down. And so that's obviously what's happening here. It's just about system failures and individuals, our behavior that we are failing to change. But I saw you also engaging more of the people aside from the affected victims. You also went down there to assess what are commuters and drivers also telling you?
I just want to pick your thoughts briefly on what you talked about, what you spoke about, the system failure, because interestingly, when we got here this morning, we encountered an individual, and he, despite the fact that he's been telling us about the fact that there's been a system failure, and about the fact that they are putting some refuse in, he's been telling us that we actually saw him place some of this refuse right close to where we were standing. And it's just interesting because one of the major problems we've been facing as a country will be the indiscriminate dumping of refuse. And this individual we encountered placing a refuse right close to where a major flooding is happening. But then I just want to cut that and put you through what you'll be seeing will be the Muslim ambulance. Ramat, you have a better appreciation of this. This is the ambulance that will be carrying the individual we understand has lost his life. Explain to us what this means.
Absolutely, Stephen. This incident where you are seeing whenever a Muslim lost his or her life, we have our own religious way that we used to, bathe the corpse, keep them, and so pay their last respect to them before they go to. Some of these things that has happened in Islam, it's meant to happen. And so I'm sure they did not keep this person in the normal ambulance, like the general one that we know, because this person is a Muslim. And obviously, I'm not sure the person is going to be in the mortuary. They are going to, because this is kind of an emergency situation, I can't really say if the person is going to be buried. But even in Islam, it's around 5-9 right now. And so they will not go to the cemetery because looking at the time. And so maybe, or hopefully, I'm sure this person will be buried tomorrow. But they will not take the person to the mortuary. Reason, they do not even allow the person or the dead body to be in the general ambulance. And so that's exactly the situation. It's just quite unfortunate. In Islam, when people die, you don't cry. But this particular incident, you could see that the wife, we can't really tell if the wife, but the woman was just shouting, speaking Hausa, that it's just unfortunate that Al-Haji, that's the name they used to call him. And so we will get more details from the officials here to confirm the full name. So I'm sure they are taking him to either the mosque or a place, maybe their other home closer to Accra, because obviously this person is a Muslim and will not be at the mortuary.
It's interesting you bring up that conversation also, because we've seen some mothers here who are pretty devastated by the incident. In fact, when they tried sending the canoe back, the boat back inside to rescue some of these individuals who are trapped inside. They've been telling us about the fact that they are scared about the well-being of their children or their wards, given that the ambulance was present and they had called for the ambulance. Some of the mothers we spoke to, we spoke to them, we understood their countenance, and from every indication it's a more of a reactionary emotion, somewhat scared about what's going to happen next, whether or not their child is going to come out alive. But then we've seen these mothers walk away quite a bit joyfully. But then, as you mentioned, you talked about the incident that's happening, the new plant station and what's happening there. Currently, I just came back from there, and what I can report to be the water has subsided. But then you see some of these remnants of this rain still quite visible at this bus station. You'll notice that this bus station has more of these vehicles still grounded. So I just can say that if you are looking at moving away from Accra this evening, it may take a much longer time for you to move from Accra to, let's say, Medina, to Suhum, to any part of Accra. It may take a bit much longer for you to take. And this is according to the drivers of the Circle station. They tell us that the water, the early morning rains we encountered early this morning, has entered their vehicle. It has entered some parts of their engines, and it's going to take them much longer to find replacements to this. And we also visited the new plant station. It's interesting also there also, you notice that early in the morning, the new plant station was quite flooded. You'll notice some of these buses grounded, submerged in the water. But then this water has reduced, has subsided, but then most of these vehicles are still grounded. We'll try and get closer and get the reactions of these drivers to understand what's going to be their next step given the whole circumstance. But then, so far, that's what we can report. You also notice quite visibly at the Circle station that there's a lot of refuse at the station. You also notice some residue, some sand. You notice a lot of these debris still visible at this bus station. And that's quite worrying because many of these individuals are looking for all this to pass away today and to get back to a quite joyful day tomorrow. But then that will not be the story for most of these individuals.
Stephen, interestingly, you see, when we got here earlier this morning, even where we are standing currently, we could not even stand here to do a report. We were in our various safety gears, Wellington boots and what have you, but we could not even walk into these flood waters to, report exactly what's on the ground. And so it tells us that the system, there is something that needs to be fixed, or there is something that can be fixed looking at the situation, because somewhere, somehow, within or in a matter of minutes, the water just around this place has receded. And so what's the problem? And you could see in your shots that there are plastic waste all over the place. Even when it's raining, it looks like people are not ready to adapt to change. And so whatever advice or cautions that is given is not really taken seriously. But it's just unfortunate that the road leading to where the fire incident is, they are still unable to get in there to bring the blaze under control. And so that's the exact thing here, because what's wrong? We've seen that they brought more boats, more ropes, fisher folks, ordinary strangers, other people just trying to join the security personnel so that they can rescue more people as they can. But Stephen, one interesting thing is that the officials tells us that there are some people in there who are not willing. There are some people in there who are not willing to come out, and so that is a very worrying situation. Even when people have been confirmed dead, we still have people who are in there who think that they are safe wherever they are. Well, we just hope that everybody is saved, but within just in a matter of minutes, the water has just receded. People are trying to move away a little, but we are trying to get closer to some of the drivers and engage them. We can see that they've been able to go for their cars now. And so they want to try and then go away. Sir, you are welcome to Joy News.
Thank you.
Na okano oka he ana afi na ofi he ba.
Me free Alajo. Me free Achimota na meba. Mbedu Alajo. Ensuo no ayira fa bridge ni nyina ka anko kamba. Ibi ka Accra sewum. America me di me bomba Accra na awai. Gidi mi yifa ho na bombo de ya na mtimi yi ka efiri ho na me de abedru circle. Itino atwanche ma ato ye wo circle ne de amanfo demo amanfo bebie nsu akoba bie na ntwie amanfo afama odo itino na esi no no me
ntu se o kan no wo se o bompa no nkwa na ese
bompa na wai na nsuo nso ekọ engine mu na me spark na spark afi me koma chi enko me koma ni ma na enko itimi gina wo kakra ma e dry ansa na me boss ansa na giso sanka me boss na nka anje so di anka kan be fa ke nsuo ni be fa ka no
ntu park e wo nsuo nim
nsuo na enshada me do level sana eya na eba ntini ntama me boss na engine so no na me bompa ese rade mu ama me kan den spark later on na me boss I spark ye no e de man fa ni agro kra.
For how many hours ana ojina nsuo nim?
Almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
3 hours take so jina nsuo nim kan ko kama ya fe reverse obi e reverse etinu mi hemfinfin na okonko na okontinu o yesi ye tietiem ko wachi san no mkoko ya itimi epie tini ejina mu chepa
Just an unfortunate account from this driver there. He tells us that he stayed in the flood waters for close to 3 hours, and then at Alajo leading to Achimota, he was just stuck in the waters. But for now, let me hold on with that. But they are moving away with some of the boats and some of the rescue items that were brought by. They are trying to see if they can go to the other side and then tame the fire. But Stephen, we've heard from the driver. He tells us that he was stuck in there for close to 3 hours. When we got here, people said even since morning they've not had anything to eat. They've not had anything at all to eat. And so the situation is very dire. And so you spoke to the driver, and so let me give it back to you so you tell us some of the things that you've been gathering from them.
So you had the report by my colleague Stephen Mensah and from Matt Bashiru at Circle, giving us an idea of what is currently happening at Circle. Earlier, Fatao Bayaga, my colleague, spoke to the acting managing director for ECG, Kwame Pekwena, to give us an idea of what our electricity looks like during the rains and subsequent destruction of properties and lives. Let's listen to that.
Their lives at Alajo, and it's through electrification at that particular area. What we understand is that the people were inside their rooms when the flooding intensified, and basically they were electrocuted in their rooms. So as I speak with you a few minutes ago, NADMA officials with support from the local residents, they've been able to, take their dead bodies to. We are told that they've been taken to the Mamobi polyclinic at the moment. So it's been a very serious situation. A lot of homes submerged in flood waters. People are still counting their losses. In fact, some of them they're telling me that they don't know where to sleep tonight because of this particular situation. Even those who were taken to safe havens, we are told that some people were taken to a church. The church itself, within minutes, was also inundated with flood waters. So it's been a very serious situation across the Alajo enclave here, and for many of the people, it's been a very serious situation. The pain, the struggle was palpable on their faces as they tried to scoop water from their rooms and also counting their losses. Some of them mattresses, other equipment in their rooms, all of them drenched because of this flooding situation. And I have just received information that another person, so the people who have lost their lives as far as this flooding situation is concerned are now 3 people. 3 people have lost their lives from this particular situation. So this will tell you how severe, how serious this particular issue is. And in fact, one other place, in fact, the places that we've gone to, one other thing that appears to be glaring is the electricity installations. And we have the acting MD of the ECGs to talk to us about how this particular flooding has affected their operations here in Accra. Thank you very much, sir. You are live on Joy News. Talk to me about this flooding situation. What is the level of destruction for your company?
Right now, thank you very much. Right now, we cannot say that anything has been destroyed, okay, because we took preemptive measures to put the power off when the flooding was threatening the substation. In fact, it's not only the substation. We have 5 bulk supply points in Accra. They are the points where ECG takes power from the national transmission grid. This is the first one. And this one supplies a lot of the critical loads that we have in Accra. So it supplies 37, supplies UGMC, it supplies the University of Ghana itself, University of Professional Studies, 37, Burma Camp, even Parliament House is supplied from here. And so Jubilee House is supplied from here. So this is a very important infrastructure. But when it was threatened this morning, you can see the flooding, you can see the water here. The water level was up here and threatening to get into the substation here. And you know, water and electricity, they are not friends. So we had to take preemptive measure to put the power off. And so we have protected property. But the most important reason we did this was to protect life, because electricity gets into water, it means people will lose their lives. And so not only at the substation, but also out, because our lines were going down because of the storm, the rain, our lines were going down. So we needed to take that preemptive precautionary measure. And we did it here. Malam, we have the second box supply point for Accra. And we had to take that one also off because the drain behind the substation was getting flooded, and the entire substation was flooded. Our control room was flooded, so we had to again take preemptive measure to put the power off. So property has been protected, our infrastructure has been protected. We will have to assess and see whether water has gotten into critical areas, but we are doing that right now. And we are working with Gridco. So soon we'll be restoring power to Malam, and after Malam we will come here. So we are here to assess the extent to which water has gone into the substation. We are here to assess that, and we've seen that the water has receded to the level where we can restore power. We will restore power to the high grounds first, and then as we monitor the situation, we will decide to restore to even the low grounds where. No, but we want to be sure that our lines are not down before we restore power.
I've seen some of your officers working behind us. What are they trying to do here?
So this substation, you can see that a lot of the feeders, the lines that take the power to customers are underground. And so we have trenches, and we have a basement here. The cables go into the basement before they go up into the switchgear. There's still water in the basement, so they are here to pump the residual water from the basement. No, but the level is such that we can restore supply.
So areas that have been heavily affected, like Alajo and all of that, how do you intend to manage such places?
Yeah, so this substation supplies Alajo, and as I mentioned, we are monitoring to be sure that no line is down before we restore power to the Alajo area.
So at the Alajo area, about 3 people were electrocuted, and at the moment they are dead. I mean, how do you manage the situation so that in terms of heavy flooding, we do not experience things like that?
So we have to assess the situation at different levels. If you are in your home and water is getting into your home, the safest thing to do is to go to the main switch and turn it off. And the main switch is high enough for you, so you can turn it off. But if the water is getting to the main switch, the best thing to do is to leave the home and find safety somewhere. When the flooding is extensive, then we can take the measures we took this morning, but it affects a lot more people. So we only take this drastic measure when it has become, let me call it, there's no other way to manage the situation, and the impact will be great. Then we will take this huge measure. But in the local areas, we will advise. In fact, we have been sending out information booklets on how people can manage in situations like this. So what happened today to these people, because in their homes water had gotten into where the sockets were, and that's what happened. And we are really sorry about that. But the major, when it affects a large area and major customers, then we are forced to take the action we took today. I must say that we normally do not have this kind of experience. This is one in a long time, once in a long time, that you have flooding to the extent we had today, and.
That was my colleague Fatal Bayaga interacting with the MD, the acting MD for ECG, Kwame Pekbena. And now on the phone line is Edem Agbenyefia. He is Municipal Director for NAT. We understand a woman and some 2 children were found dead in flood waters in Ga East or Domi. Thank you so much for joining us on Joy News. Do you have confirmation on this incident we are just receiving reports on, that a woman has been found dead together with 2 children at Dome? Do I have Edem Agbenyefia on the line to us?
Yes, Edem Agbenyefia is on the line.
Thank you so much for joining me. We are receiving reports that a woman has been confirmed dead in Dome due to flood waters. Can you confirm that to us?
Yeah. My name is Edem Agbenyefia, the East Municipal Director, NADMO. We were told that 5 containers, 5 kiosks have been removed on the waterway by the river. The 2 meeting points of Kisima Christian Village water, and then the one coming from Domi Pillar 2, all the way from Taifa, have been removed, those kiosks. And then inside those 5 kiosks, 11 people were inside. 1-week-old baby boy has been found. A woman aging 45 to 50 has been found. 6 years boy has been found, and a lady and a small boy also has been found. So out of the 11 that got missing, we found 5 for now. So that is the information at Domi area now. I can say for now.
So how many people can you confirm dead?
Yeah, in my case, 11 people have been missing. 11 people. 11 people have been missing. And 5 have been found, meaning that the rest, they pass on. Yeah.
So you found all 5 alive?
Sorry?
You found 5 people alive?
Yes. No, not that they are alive. They've got missing. They've got missing. And 5 has been found dead.
Right.
Yes.
What about the remaining 6? Where are they?
Yes. Yeah. As for now, we can't find 6.
You can't find 6 of them. And
Yes,
I'm sure
but we were told that 9 people were found at Achimota Gutter. So 9 people were found dead. So meaning that those from Domi area there are part of the 9 because they are all in the same stretch.
Right. So tell us how bad the situation is in the Ga East municipality.
Yeah, current situation in Ga East municipality is very serious that a lot of property has been damaged. Currently, I'm at the Domi crossing area where a Opel car is in the water that we are coming to remove now. We were told it's 2 cars, but it's only one we can find now. And I brought a backhoe to come and defeat the debris from the end of the cover so that the water can have a free flow. Then we can take off the car also from the water.
At some parts of Accra, we understand that the flood waters have started receding. Is that the same case in Ga East?
Exactly so. The same case starting at Ga East.
What about those who have been displaced? What measures are you putting in place to ensure that they have a place to sleep tonight?
Yes. Those who reported to us, we asked them to go to a safe haven place, which most of them, they are not willing to go. They want to be in their home and be taking care of their belongings that has been damaged. So for now, we don't have anybody being sent to having safe place yet. So most of them, they want to remain in their vicinity or their area to take care of their belongings.
And what are you doing about it to ensure that they are kept safe?
Yeah, for now, we send our DVG to them for proper care to be taken. When they needed assistance, we'll give it to them.
They are refusing to leave the flooded areas. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying they're refusing to leave the flooded areas?
Yes, we've dispatched the DVGs to the flood areas that anything that the people need, the people will assist them.
Do we know the number of people who have been displaced?
As the display, estimatically, I can say for me area, I can say over 2,000 people have been displaced homeless.
And it brings me back to the question, where are they going to sleep tonight?
And that is a million question. And most of them, as we have been advising them to leave their place, they are refusing because they said they will get water towards their things. So for now, they are not ready to leave there to any place. They want to remain there to take care of their belongings.
I'm struggling to understand how they've refused to leave the area when they cannot sleep there.
In a few minutes ago, I spoke with the Assemblyman, Honorable Ebenezer Kwao. He said none of them. So since they are not ready, so I just deploy my DVG that they should be on standby in case of any assistance that they need. Apart from living there, they should give. But currently, I'm at Domi where we are taking off debris from the end of the cover to pass a free flow of the water so that we can take off the vehicle from the drain.
So are you saying that all 2,000 people you say have been displaced are refusing to leave the flooded areas to a safer ground?
certainly so.
Interesting. What would be your advice to the residents in Gais?
Oh, my only advice is the weather is still threatening to rain again. So in case it started raining, those who know that flood has been disturbing them, they should leave their homes to a safer place, churches that closer to them, school that is closer to them. If they are having a neighbor who is having a study building, they can ask of permission to go and stay at the top so that they all be safe. And if you have a property that is so valid, you have to start picking them and leave the area. That is what I can say for now, that they should listen to this advice that the rain is still threatening to rain. So they should be getting prepared. Any valuable document that they have, property, they should start taking it to a safer place.
But as NADMO, do you have any relief items to give them?
For now, we are taking assessment before we know how to budget for.
How long would it take you to do that assessment?
It won't be long.
How long?
Tomorrow, by 10 o'clock, we'll deploy our people to take that assessment. We are capable of doing that.
And do you have the relief items available to distribute to those who need them?
We are communicating to arrange for that because it's a huge disaster which needs proper planning. So they are working on it at the headquarters. Definitely, they will get something.
Thank you very much. Gemma Appiah is the East Municipal Director for NADMO, giving us updates on the situation at Dom. We understand that 5 people have died and 6 people are still missing following the flood waters in that part of the region, and that includes a 1-week-old baby and a 6-year-old boy as well, and a woman aged between 45 and 50. This is still our coverage of the flooding situation in the Greater Accra region. We'll be taking you to the grounds to bring you updates on the situation. But we understand that the flood waters have started receding, and people who have been displaced are being given churches to pass the night. And Ramat Bashiru is still on the grounds. Let's cross over and engage her. The situation at Odona, because that fire is still raging, and also she's been interacting with some people. Let's listen to her.
Ansana Jan had entry transfer amba at the corner say, baby, and Nipanino.
Inti how much in a banisano, Munim say na in Crawford, Hana send Crawford in Hornum.
I had a horsey place in Nipa to me that baby or baby, and in Sony Chili in there. Men, the Quality say, I'm Kajinani say. To make a Jinani say, the young say Jano, Ash, and mean to mention, I said Nipashim one, I said Nipanshim.
And so this is the account from this gentleman here. He says that he was here since dawn, and so he was aiding together with other colleagues of his to just bring this blaze under control. Many more of them gathered here. They tell us that they are tired. They started this mission since dawn, and still the situation seems beyond their capability. The Ghana National Fire Service has been here. They've brought their first tanker to ensure that the situation is brought under control. We understand they need more tankers here on ground because the situation here is very severe. And people, obviously, they've lost their items, a very ordeal experiences that they've been sharing with us. They've lost many more of their items. This gentleman, as you can see here, he says he's tired. Let me get to him to get what he can also tell us. What brepa then away to me the about situation is so far.
Oh, me a security man on me call night. Anti me wa 5 no friend me say I say nso no say na aye no or there wa na brefi na me sister okay na me ye time yes 6 o'clock anti me pon me san me brefi no me see no ye wa na bra Enti se no mo de kasa no say no ere me ye what. Enti me so me jai adwuma no na me se no me befie. Ansa na ma ba do no me kiosk akọ, me container akọ. Ba nya me ho an say ja to market no. Na me se no. Se me kiosk akọ me container akọ. I say akọ na be see I see ba janu de ere me make sure say yan do me janu because there were a lot of brothers are homeless. There were a lot of brothers are homeless. Ahana omunyina omoti. And he said na you say yeah I'm fine san shema you be do me jana. Say me kiosk akọ me container akọ crap wa. On me ebe si crap no ebe too much. And he
show me ba o kiosk ni container na ho na woda.
Me kiosk no na me da. Me container no me business place. And he me wife na wo ho. But na dina inso na ye no onu so nakuma tu e mane ye den ojai bibia no ye den odwane ko ye enti mi ansa na mi meba no omo frame ansa na mi meba no na bibia ye den akodada ba ejanu na mi ye den me bua ma ye start say ye do me ejanu ma frɛ fire service for frɛ ahyase no omo ka kire mi say inso no nti say na inso na ye e na kwan no mu aye cars bia paki wo kwan me ne how enti omo ntumi ndua unless inso na twen a cars no omo makwan ansa na mo betumi edua. And yes, we try say do mejanu na emani escalate. And he says ya omuba na omuba beboy nyina ye de na but na kosu ha de very severe. Government no ya na edi omusisu. So we should clote ha. In fact, yeah massive government. And he said government to be in terms of situations like this and now in terms of some sort of development some be anima and anyama say because na ankasa no in fact.
But to be fair to the government no Oshe Hanum say don't you think individuals we are also part of the problem because we are supposed to ensure that we dump refuse properly appropriately put them in bins we don't put them in the drain where the water would have to flow. So see Oshe plastic all over the place.
Madam, this is a plastic market. The bola doesn't come from here. This gutter links to so many environments. And say insio toa na ujna insio noa na usho bola na every estro eba down ha. We won't say no omu wasro krapono. Omu krapono in fact me fan say excuse me to say nyansa no na enimdie no omu nibi because excuse me to say ya wa hade no ya nim say hade no ensio time ya bola house wa ha obi aye bola or the bola house what you must say obi aye bola bia or the bola house but omo wasro no ya nim omo how far so omo the bola house so say na omo ye no but ensio to anytime ensio to bia obo say ensio no so aye ma bola and free ha every baby sometimes ensio no ento masama poko ase in sawam but answer na bedu hade no obo say bola son na ensio no. And yeah, bola.
Microphone bola ne baha.
Yes, yeah bola. Yeah bola. And a gata no su sena omaye no aveno alajo. Sena omaye gata na mana atre. And yes make us straight a dasu. Na ko say na oro mu ye no ha. And dasu. And I got no so all the time on team because time rolling so ho no mu. Dey be eti gotamu. Tankas for by eti gotamu de bia eti gotamu but Rollins new enti they say I won say bibia go enti omu fa Rollins new legacy no de bia tankas for mu na to chrome na eti gotamu ye make sure say bibia correct that's a problem no but that is where we try to know the people who are bringing the problem but you don't solve the problem you don't tackle the problem you want to know people who are bringing the problem you cannot.
And so many of the people, you are a security person here. Yes. You tell me that you were here since the incident. What has happened to many of the people whose items are in there? Because you obviously also told me that there are people who use here as a safe haven. So what's happening? What happened to them?
My madam works in the rubber market. She's having 7 stores. 6 has gone burnt. Only 1 is there. Even the 1, I am protecting it. As you can see me. Look at me. I'm protecting the 1 so that she will not lose everything.
How are you protecting it?
Just to make sure I help the fire servicemen to put off the fire. I've started putting off the fire since 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's raining, but we are in the rain, making sure everything is all right. But the fire is too much for us. The smoke is too much for us. The heat is too much for us. And we are not fire servicemen. The only thing we can do is to let them know that, no, we are tired, so they should come in.
Absolutely. I'll come to you too. But however, let me just say that the incident is very severe. They are unable to bring the flame under control. I mean, Stephen, engaging some of these people who were here, this security man, for example, he tells us that he was here since dawn when this incident occurred. He thinks that major desilting work needs to begin in parts of the capital, because obviously he says that this is not the first time we are experiencing this. This has been happening over and over again. And for the plastic we are seeing here, he says that yes, he admitted that it's individual changes, but it's not coming from them here, because he says this is a plastic market, and so they know that whatever they are going to do here, they have a boiler house here, so they take it there. However, whenever it rains, this is the situation they face on the ground. I mean, he started by speaking to, he says he's lost his kiosk and his container. His container, that's where he does his business, and his kiosk, that's where he also lay his head. He also raised concern that there are many of the young gentlemen here who consider this place as a safe haven for themselves. However, looking at the situation, they are stranded, devastated. They have no plans as it stands. And so, as we speak, you are also seeing things for yourself. Fire service, they've been here, but still the fire seem to be spreading across the markets. Yes. What do you have to say to?
Ramat, it's just interesting because it just comes back to buttress the guy's point, because when you get close to, and we've been trying to understand and examine the scope and how the location is, right behind where we are standing, you notice a refuse dam close by, and this refuse dam will be housing some of these waste that some of us will be producing, and this refuse dam is right behind. I just want us to take a stroll, right, real quick, so we could get a first-hand experience as to what we are talking about. You see a refuse dam right behind it, and this refuse dam is also close to the Odona River. Some few meters away from here, you notice the Odo River. The next few meters, you notice the refuse dump also. You also notice a mechanic shop. You recall that one of these individuals we spoke to quite earlier, he told us that he's lost some items and he's lost his vehicles also. So it just comes back to buttress the point of these individuals we've been speaking to. But quite significant to be the number of refuse you notice here on the site. Close to the fire scene, we can still tell you that the fire is still on. The Ghana National Fire Service unable to turn off or douse this fire currently. But then this situation currently, the fire is still on. These individuals are telling us that they are unable to ascertain how much they will be losing from this fire incident. So quite a devastating story, as you rightly mentioned. Two stories, fire and water. Individuals losing both their livelihoods and the place they will be laying their head.
So it continues to be some of the stories we've been telling each and every time we enter the raining season. And so it means that there is something that needs to be changed. There is something that needs to be changed, because obviously, as you can see, when we even try to engage most of the people, they tell us that we've been talking each and every year whenever we enter this raining season. And so there is absolutely something that needs to be done. Aside from the desilting of the major gutters in parts of the city, there is also kind of law enforcement that the people themselves have admitted that needs to be there. We are trying to get closer to the place, and I must say that speaking to the people, it's not even safe because the smokes coming from the fire is that severe. We are just trying to see. It's raining, Stephen. It's raining, but you could feel how the place is very hot. I must say that when they explain to us, it's almost as if this was a very small fire incidents, flood and water at the same time. And so they tried to tame the fire, but they were unable to do it because they say it's beyond their capability. Most of the residents we spoke to, they say that they've been here as early as 3 a.m. dawn, just trying to tame the fire, but they've been able to do nothing about the situation. And as we can see, even though the fire service, they are here, they are still trying their best to tame the fire and bring the blaze under control. It's very much severe, it's spreading. And so this gentleman here tells us that he was also here assisting with the operations. What can you tell us, sir?
So as I can see, this incident happen this particular morning, I'm very sadness because the people lost some their property, which up to now the fire is catching up, and the fire service are trying their best to make the fire finish, but still now they are trying, the fire is catching up.
It's very an unfortunate incident there, but I can also feel I can understand how devastating this issue is to you, looking at even how you speak to us. What items have you lost?
Many plastic wire bonds and containers, and so many. They are making aluminium pots and other many things were still catching the fire, which up to now the fire service are ready to make the fire finish, but what I'm going to say now.
So the Ghana National Fire Service are still working so hard to douse the blaze at the Odona Rubber Market at Circle, and that was my colleague Ramat Bashiru interacting with some residents there. But let's go to Zoom now and speak to the MC for Ladadi Kotopon, Alfredo Sini Anyete, and we're speaking to him because Chado, and within that particular municipality, is one of the affected areas in terms of flood waters. Welcome to Joy News. It seemed a bit strange that Chado will be recording flooding situation, and because of how new the place is. Why is that so?
All right, good evening to you, and good evening to your wonderful viewers. Yes, Chado is a newly developing area, and so the Assembly takes pride in helping to keep up everything that comes up there. Unfortunately, we have to be dealing with this flooding situation there because we have a lot of silting in closing of the channels of the Ojo stream, one of the main streams that ends up in the Fishing Lagoon. So it's been a problem that we've been tackling for some months now. Fortunately, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, we had a mini town hall where we brought the issue to the community and then engaged them on the ways the Assembly wants to tackle the issue to prevent flooding. In the beginning, this program, that's the town hall meeting, went on very well. The last stages when a few inhabitants wanted to disrupt the events by making it seem as if the Assembly is targeting developers of certain areas around the Ojo stream for demolition. And that is not so. So one of the cases is that the Fishing Lagoon itself is heavily silted, in which we have consulted and met with the Ministry for Land, the Ministry for Works and Housing, and then the Ghana Hydro Authority to come assist us to dredge. People at the town hall meeting were all, witnesses to some of the concerns that the Fishing Lagoon has never been dredged. Their life to be the very first time the lagoon is going to be dredged, and they are pushing very hard to have it done. And I believe that the meetings that you've had have an assurance that the Ghana Hydro Authority is doing some assessments to have the lagoon dredged. I believe that it lead to action in the flooding that happens in Chad. Then again, this morning's rains were quite heavy and persistent. And as soon as it's around 3-4 a.m., people will be in trouble because the channels have been blocked. Most of the channels of the Ojo stream and the adjoining one from Lekma area have been narrowed. And we were working together with NADMO and then Hydro to have it dredged. But it's not a one-day job, it's not a one-week job, it's a continuous process until this morning's rain. So we knew that we would have some difficulties. Today's rains were very heavy. We were there early to start rescue operations because we saw the heights of the water levels, which we have never seen before.
Let me come in here before we get to what happened today. Some months ago, NATMO demolished some structures along the Teshi Bush Road, and that was supposed to help expand the lagoon and help in the free flow of water. What happened? What happened that after that demolition, we are still recording flood waters within Chad when that demolition was supposed to expand the lagoon?
Right. So thank you very much. That demolition exercise was only the first of a series of activities to have the lagoon dredged. The demolitions had to happen because there were several structures that were built and encroached the embankment of the lagoon. That's what had been encroached. So moving the structures were the first steps to have the lagoon itself in embankments. Dredge so that water can collect more, and that's part of like the lowest parts of municipality that collects from the Accra mountains, etc. So the demolition of the first activity towards having the lagoon itself dredged, and as well as reclaiming some of the filled up areas around the banks of the lagoon.
Did you do any desilting after that demolition exercise?
Yes, we've done lots of desilting in the streams that lead to the Fish Lagoon. The TGC from the Bush Road started the dredging on it a couple of days ago. The corridor itself, we're doing some desilting and dredging as some parts of it that we noticed from the technical view of some of my officers that people have diverted the course of the stream. That was also part of the problem. So after our town hall meeting, we're having some activities in the stream to address the situation. But like I said earlier, it wasn't going to be a one-day event. So we had to do those series of activities for us to get to the end point where the fish itself will be dredged. I can also report that last week or last 2 weekends, we had some excavators, we have some assistance from dredge masters, that's just one group of companies, to have the estuary of the Haitian also dredged, which we did successfully. So there are all series of activities we are doing to get more catchment, improve the catchment area of the lagoon for the water to go to collect before it goes into the sea to reduce the flooding that we've been experiencing recently.
But you admit that the Peshi Lagoon was heavily silted and needed to be dredged. How many times did you dredge it before today's incident?
The Peshi Lagoon itself is a very capital intensive. The dredging of the Peshi is really capital intensive. It's not one that the budget of the assembly can fund. That is why we've engaged Ghana Hydro Authority and the Ministry of Works for us. So it is put in the plan. Unfortunately, we've all been in sync and agreed that the court is heavily silted. Today, I went around again to see the entire place, and It's a pitiful sight. You can see that it's taking some years for people to actually deliberately fill up, even though the silt also comes from the channels with the water course from the mountains downstream. So it's been something that has been neglected for quite a long time. And I think that we'll be able to do this in our time, whilst we are in electricity, to help go along with to help the municipality.
We spoke to the military earlier today, and they told us the number of people they had to rescue within Chado. But what brief do you have in terms of the number of people who have been displaced?
Yes, I was there myself with the military. 40 just came to our rescue, 5 billion as well, and NADMO as well. Like I said, we were there early in the morning to see to rescue efforts. I don't have the total number of people. So you had to deploy boats by the military and NADMO to different directions where we heard people were trapped up. I don't have the numbers with me currently, but it was quite a number. And then I want to use this opportunity to commend NADMO, to commend 48 engineers, to commend 5 billion, and my honorable MP for all the assistance and the council we had to ensure that we had a successful rescue. Because the coast stream is a very long stretch, and many people along the channel, the corridor, were affected because we were very close to the stream. So we have to be at different portions of the stream to rescue people. So this morning, that more people were rescued today.
What immediate measures are you putting in place to ensure that this does not recur? We understand from Meteo that we may have some respite tomorrow and Wednesday, but from Thursday, the situation is going to be the same, or if not worse. So are we to expect the level of damage, the level of destruction today in the coming days?
We as an assembly are working around the clock to ensure that our people are safe. Our priority is to save lives first and then see to that. As like I said, there's a number of activities to ensure flooding doesn't, use it to the various minimum as a case study. So we are working around the clock to ensure that our people are safe first and foremost. They're not trapped in the flood waters, and ensure that doesn't happen. Then we discuss meters to the stream. Both left will be removed. We've asked the owners to purchase some markings. I believe some markings are done by my technical staff, and we have to proceed to do this. After today's activity, we are going to sit and assess the steps that are left, the next steps that are left done, and then we'll do all it takes to ensure that this kind of flooding in Chad especially doesn't happen again.
Is it just Chad within your municipality that was heavily affected? No,
honestly speaking, this morning's rains were very persistent and quite heavy. So other places that also did not experience flooding, I got reports that we got flooded as well. But Chado's issue were more severe, and that's why I took more of our attention to those places, because people were more trapped. But we have other petty areas, other smaller areas that experience the flood as well. But that's together with assembly members, some of these people were still attended to, and those were by a few that have collected plastics from residents, etc. So those ones were exempt.
Some municipalities are recording fatalities. How different is it from your municipality, Ladadi Kutupo?
As far as I know, as of now, we have not recorded any fatality from this flooding, and that was our priority, to ensure that our residents were safe. So we made everybody know, sent word around that they moved to safer grounds first. They shouldn't leave a property or anything else that they held dear behind. We wanted everybody to be alive and move to several grounds first. So we ensured that we were able to rescue everybody who needed to be rescued. So we haven't recorded any relatives as far as I know as of now.
Thank you so much. Alfredo Sni Anyete is MCE for La Dade Kotopon.
As it stands now, this will be something the environmentalists will be talking about for quite some time. What will be done to prevent this atmosphere from reducing? We've seen the amount of smoke that's going into the atmosphere already. The market is still up in flames. You'd understand what will be happening so far. But then another thing that will be breaking my mind will be the extent of damage. Rama spoke about the amount that will be needed to compensate these individuals who have lost their livelihoods here. But then as to what will be done so far and what has been done so far, it will be interesting to know what government will be doing for these individuals. But then I've seen the Greater Accra Regional Commander, Fire Commander for the Ghana National Fire Service present outside. Mr. ACFO, good evening and welcome to Join News. Before you go back inside, we just want to understand what's the briefing like so far?
Firefighting is in progress, so I just want to assure the residents around that we've deployed a lot of appliances around, and in a few hours' time, we'll declare the fire under control.
The conversation from these individuals will be: you came here with a half-full tanker, a fire tender. Is that the case?
No, but as journalists, for now, I thought we'd have settled this issue for very long time.
This is a conversation these individuals raise. We just want to understand.
I mean, did you come here with a half-full tanker? It's not true, but I just want you to also satisfy yourself. You can go around and check the appliances that are around, whether we are discharging water or not. So there's an appliance over there. You can go and check, please.
All right. But then
I just want to do some assessment this week.
Okay, but then one last question before you go. We had an explosion here. Is this something we should be concerned about?
Yeah, it's all because this is a residence. You see, people cook around, so you should expect explosions because there are cylinders in the fire. So these are some of the things that causes explosions.
All right. All the best to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So that was a Greater Accra Fire Commander, ACFO. Rashid Nisau, and he's been telling us about, he's been dispelling some of the claims from these residents. The first to be about the gas cylinder, and he says that it's to be expected given that this is a residential place for some individuals, and it will be expected of them to be cooking here. Even though there's been a clear directive from government that no individual should be cooking in the market. He's also been dispelling the claims and the rumors about bringing a half-full tanker, a fire tender, to this fire incident. He's been saying that we should go around and observe for ourselves. And in fact, this is, per his account, not true. And he says that it shouldn't be on the record that they brought a half-full tanker to this fire incident because they are doing their best to ensure that this fire is brought under control. But then, Ramat, you've heard the conversations. You've heard the Greater Accra Fire Commander saying, look, they are trying their best to bring this fire under control. It's been close to 12 hours since this fire incident started. We've seen the explosion. We've heard and seen the smoke, the thick smoke that's pretty much engulfing the whole place. We'll be pretty interested in hearing from the environmentalists on the extent of damage to Ghana's carbon footprint so far. But then, what have you been hearing from these individuals?
Indeed, Stephen, I must say that everybody they are trying their best to, douse the fire. The fire service, like you said, I'm speaking to the regional commander. He says that they are trying their possible best to bring this down. As you can see, they are trying to get more resources to help the people here to tame the fire. Even strangers and ordinary people have joined the fight to ensure that the fire is brought under control. Many more of them have gathered here counting their losses, with some of them being thankful to the Almighty that they've not lost a life. indeed many more of them. But interestingly, I have a gentleman here. He seems to love dogs, and so he says that he saw that some dogs were trapped in the flood waters, and he would want to tell us about that. So these are very small dogs. So why? Where did you see them?
Me angasana me pe ankama yasem by me talking about could be owu free okono man talk am bio by we omo we na me come madam for no me ko na wawo na me so mo menu na me so menye omo because me pe kama yasem ando anwumire no so start anapa agwa na yele be wona ntimi ntena e basa adwane ko tena over here no so mbi mu awu nso ko ma be bie gota so mo ya mae gota na ma be senyende omo ye mae eno so kan na so toka kana yele na hae nkan ya me pena asem no na wu ko no ntebe sire omo se omo ye hu bibi mae na fire service nso e be sire omo se ya omo kan che omo se ya e frɛ omo a ya omo ye ntem kakra mae na ndede omo ye too late eno so kan na market no yantimi amfa hwe and next time no correct omo mistake.
Okay, so this gentleman here, his major concern is that not only have individuals lost their items, but animals, dogs. He seems to love dogs. Interestingly, unfortunately for him, they lost their life, and so that's his concern. And also, he's also been talking about the extent of damage this incident has caused them. They are still unable to tame the fire. They are still unable to bring the blaze under control. Many more people gathered here. We've had other ambulance services also coming here because they also say that they heard about the situation, and so they decided to come around to also assist with any emergency situation. Hello, sir. You are welcome to Joy News.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. We are from Accra Newtown Islamic Hospital. We heard there was a fire outbreak at Adabaka. We decided to come around with our health team to come and rescue their casualties around. So we are still on standby to rescue any casualty around. Thank you.
It's very good you are here. Now, in as much as they are unable to tame this blaze, you can see that the smoke coming from this place is very severe. What do you think, beyond the devastation or destruction this fire incident is causing? The smoke coming in is very much also something that needs an emergency attention, or?
Yeah, for around the smoke is already the smoke is already ongoing, and our advice is to clear all people around should move distance away from the smoke, which can cause, if once you inhale the smoke, can cause you some kind of respiratory diseases, infection. So we decided to make sure those casualties around, we advise them they should move away from the smoke, which is very dangerous to their health. Thank you.
Okay, and so these are some of health officials from Adabraka Newtown saying that the Islamic hospital, they say that they came here with their ambulance just to, aid with the situation in case there is any.
My colleague Ramat Bashiru reporting from Odona Circle. Even dogs have not been spared. In studio with me is Evans Mensah. He's just returned from Alajo. Earlier, he saw him report with the Marine Police trying to take care of that situation at Alajo. There are some who lost their lives as well. Evans, the situation at Alajo, where you are coming from, tell us more about it. How bad was it?
Alajo has become one of the epicenters. There's several of them, but there's the first place we heard of fatalities, mainly due to electrocution. The places were flooded. You have live wires in the water that led to the death of a few people. Then subsequent to that, we saw the ECG turning off power to that part of Accra. The Marine Police were already on site, but I just happened to chance on them as I was driving by. They were sending reinforcements, so I tracked them and I managed to speak to the commander of the Marine Police, who was very clear that what they had met, both there and places like Chado, had been devastating. At the time, they had rescued about 18 children and many more adults, and they've handed them over to NADMO to give them shelter. They left the place. By the time they got there, the floodwaters had receded quite significantly. the main drain, Alagio drain, was still very full, but not overflowing. It had overflown before. What the problem was very clear. The debris, the rubbish and filth, huge gutter, was still choked because the level of the water was very close to this footbridge, and the debris was stuck beneath the footbridge and the water level, and so it was stuck there, literally pushing against the footbridge, a mountain of rubbish. But the water somehow found its way beneath, and as we stood there, the water was so flowing, it was stuck. The entire stretch, which is almost like a 100-meter footbridge, was choked. You couldn't see, there was no path between the footbridge and the water because of the debris. Right. After a while, after like 10-15 minutes of standing there, you see the water now forced its way to push the debris downstream. Obviously what's going to happen is going to cause problem for the downstream. And then they left there with their boats and headed towards the Adabraka area, which is what you saw with the boats helping, because Adabraka is still flooded. I mean, people forget the journalists reporting this also have families, and ourselves have been affected. One of our colleagues was caught up in the fatal UB reporting, and subsequently fell in the gutter which was overflowing and had to go home. Myself, my parents live at Adabraka. I've had to evacuate them to higher ground and to an apartment I had to rent. It's an emergency procedure. So that basically, everybody's affected by this. Both the rich, the poor, the journalist, the ordinary person is affected by this. A short while ago, the Ministry for Works and Housing issued a statement. 4 things that struck me. One, we didn't know before. Apparently, the president had been touring the capital, because we haven't seen the president.
Which is really strange, because usually when the president goes on such tours, he goes along with other officials, be it the regional minister, NADMO officials, and even journalists. But we'd never heard of it until this press statements from the Ministry of Works and Housing.
You're absolutely right. The minister says he accompanied the president. Also on this trip, apparently, was the anti-flood task force that the president set up, last year. And they told the affected areas from the long hours of rainfall that had happened overnight. So we didn't know that until this was told us, which again was strange. I mean, when I was at Alagio, there were helicopters were flying over. It's possible the president was surveying what has happened in the helicopter, but we need to be told where exactly did he go, because that obviously is important. The questions have been asked, where's the president in the midst of this crisis? But this clarifies that. And then the next bit we learn from the statement is what they are doing now in terms of emergency coordination, because we know that is what people need now. Lives have been lost, and we're still counting. We don't know the total number yet. We've in Chado, we just had the MC or the DC was telling us that 5 confirmed dead.
No,
correct?
that's Ga East.
That's Ga East.
Right.
Domi area, correct?
Yes,
that Domi area. 5 people have been retrieved dead already. We've had their larger cases. And so this is mounting. I mean, they have to put all this together. But immediately, they talk about the coordinator response led by NADMO. We've seen the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council also joining in that. The Ghana Armed Forces, the police, it's also interagency coordination. Everybody have been asked to go out there and provide immediate emergency support. And they are deploying the teams. They are evacuating people. They are providing relief. Immediate people will need shelters, which is very, very important. I lived in the flood-prone area for years to understand it. Each time it happens, NAMO will come and bring us rice, etc., and people who will have to move to a school higher ground. That must happen now, which the statement says is happening. They're assessing the damage to infrastructure, because you can test. A lot of buildings who stand in the waterway become vulnerable to subsequent incidents. And they are also drainage clearing. It's another thing that they've mentioned that they are doing right now, all happening immediately, because that you need to do right now. Because rains will continue. People who have been displaced need a place to sleep tonight. And so that is something that the statement confirms is happening. And then One of the things that also struck me is what the touring told them caused this. And you can guess. They talk about climate change, urbanization, increasing pressure on drainage infrastructure. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to tell us that is indeed what caused this. But then they also talk about the human activities, the throwing of rubbish into the drains and the clogging, etc. We know all this. So that part of the statement didn't tell me anything new, because that's what will happen. I was more curious about what will happen after here. Again, they give us a signal to what will happen. They will desilt, again, not new. We've heard it countless times from our leaders over the years. Excavation of major drainage will happen. They talk about waterways will be cleared from obstructed, debris, etc., so that to prevent, further blockade going forward. They will complement this with critical construction works. They're going to construct new drains, bigger ones, multiple ones. They've told us that before. Both NDC and NPP have done so over the years. I mean, bottom line, the initiatives, both immediately and going forward, have been spelled out extensively here. I mean, but if you go back in history, you can find a template of what they say they will do. Basically, that's what the statement is saying. It's signed by the minister himself, Kenneth Gilbert J. Works Housing and Water Resources. He's a man under pressure tonight because everybody knew the rains was going to come. When you approach in May, June, July, it's there. That's why the task force was set up. I don't know what they've done. They say in this statement that they began some works to clear areas. To be fair to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, started demolishing some buildings
and waterways.
We saw it. Too little, too late, maybe, because we know the flood-prone areas. The silt and debris I saw in the Odo canal was there. We saw it. So lots of questions. I don't know about you, but you feel fatigued talking about this particular problem. Every year happens. Statements will be issued. I mean, there's a template for this. The ministers would go and tour. They've toured. Maybe that's why they didn't tell us they're touring, because people they're tired of seeing you around. They will tour. Committees will be set up. They will issue statements. They will tell us about a certain roadmap, and we'll all go back to sleep and wait for the next floods. John Mahama was there when the June 3rd flood happened. He set up a committee. They put out a report. Our research team dug up the report recently. If you look at the wording, it's the same almost to the MPP also did theirs, because they also had floods. Nothing happened. We just sat, waited for this to happen again. And if you think back, today, the area where you had the fire today, this rubber plant, it's literally meters away from where the June 3rd flood and fire happened. Just there. Just around the same area, really. Same vicinity. Why? I know that area. I grew up in Adabraka, and I know that nothing has changed. I said to you, I went to just evacuate my parents. That's what you do. You build resilience, and then we've done that in the home. This one it's been raining since the last time it happened in June. They haven't flooded again because of the work we had to do in the house. It's just what it is, because there's a drain in front of the house. It's not desilted. Rainy season is coming. Open it and desilt. Nobody does it. So we are back here, Gemma, reporting it again. Unfortunately, we'll report it again next year. That's why our politicians do keep issuing statements. I doubt if anything else will change.
It's so sad because we keep losing people.
Yep.
And people, property, lives, and it's devastating because my grandparents have also been affected, and they've lived where they are for 30 years. This is the first time it's happening.
This is the first time it's happening? Okay.
They've had to leave. In fact, when it happened somewhere early part of June, they had to be moved to Kumasi.
Okay.
And they left. I thought they were going to stay there until the rains were over. They came back on Friday for a hospital appointment, and then this happened today.
So this happened again.
They've had to go back.
One of your reporters, one of the people we're speaking to affected, and that Addo area talked about 1995, and I immediately said I remember that because I remember the 1995 floods. It was Rawlings this time. I was asleep when I felt wet. Like, what's happening? I woke up. The water was snaking into the room. Same area my parents are now. Of course, all the work they've done in the house I held over time. But this is Rawlings. It happened in Akufo. It happened in the Mills. It happened by JM1. It's happened in the JM2. It happened in the Nado.
Akufo-Addo.
You must ask yourself, what is wrong with us? It is flooding. It's not rocket science. There's a gentleman who was speaking Tree, and everything he was saying was exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
You heard him. He was talking about the drains.
It sounded like an engineer.
Yeah, but because it's not rocket science.
It's common sense.
It's common sense. It's simple. Open the drains, clear it, build more drains. It's so simple. Stop people from building the water. I mean, it's amazing why we just repeat. Very, very. It is. People are thinking about going to Mars. They are colonizing Mars. One human being called Elon is doing that. You're building AI, complex things. And we can't fix flooding in 2026. And we have leaders in this country. All they do, fly around, tour, issue statements, set up committees, people die, and they say they're commiserating with those who have lost their lives. Of course, they'll say that. But trust me, without a shadow of doubt, nothing significant that change moves a needle as that flooding will happen. It just won't change. And amazingly, we have donors, international donor communities and partners who give us millions and speak to Kujo Ponkroma, who was a minister. When he was he was complaining that monies meant for the Gary project had not come, and he was warning us about floods. But I remember he was here on Pulse on an interview with Elton Broby, sound the alarm, because he knew when he was a journalist on Super Morning Show on Joy, he used to cover this. And I remember with him, we were all frustrated because we're tired of talking about floods. So when I listened to him that day, I was like, okay, I knew why he was standing, because when the floods happened as a minister, people would say, but he was saying that the money had not come, he couldn't distill, they couldn't the money. It's a well-bound project. No, God knows what has happened with that money. We can't find money to fix basic issues like flooding and desilting drains. We have earth-moving equipment going in your thousands to Galamsey sites, right? Thousands. Like I remember the Minister of Transport telling us that they had almost every day, they have almost 300 excavators being cleared from the port. Like thousands in a monthly basis. We can't find an equivalent number. All the ones that we see to just put on our drains on the daily, weekly basis to clear them, to desilt. It's amazing. I mean, you just have to just think this country is just...
You know what? The areas which did not used to flood are now flooding. I never thought that an area like Tema, especially with how the place was well planned out and the drainage system and everything, when I heard that, I was so shocked because I never thought a place like Tema proper, Community 6, Community 10, and the surrounding areas could ever flood. When I heard that, I was really shocked because I know the kind of buildings there and how planned properly.
Tema is one of those well-planned areas.
Very well planned.
From the Nkrumah days.
Yeah.
But somebody was telling me today that the flooding, even in front of the Jubilee House, part of that area there, was like, why not? I mean, the areas that you didn't use to will flood because if you don't fix it, it grows, it becomes worse. So the Alajos, I've always had it.
Right.
But now I've seen the footage. You see very rich communities, well-planned areas, flooded. And I was just watching one, somebody's V8 was being swept away. I'm like, even the rich is being affected now.
That's the thing.
The last time the ICGC area where Christ Temple was, we saw the video. That entire area there is gone. Very rich church. It's not being spared because we're sitting here doing nothing. I said, we are not angry enough. The people who have suffered, this will finish. They'll bury their relatives. Already we've seen the Muslims are burying theirs from the videos we've seen. nobody will complain, we'll come back. As for the media, people say we have done enough of this. In 2023, 2024, John, we ran a campaign 2 years running. I remember it because the team sat and planned it. We did it before the floods, after the floods campaign for months. We did features, we did national dialogues. 2 years. Nothing happened. So after the media campaign, I don't want to hear the story. And people start saying, oh, media, we have to. We have done it, and we keep doing it. It's up to people, individual Ghanaians to take this matter in their own hands. That's what the politicians respond to. And my template is what happened on the Adenta to barrier that forced the Akufo-Addo government to build the footbridges. It was a spontaneous eruption of citizen anger. A white student was knocked down by a vehicle, community just erupted, blocked the roads, put ties there, bent it. Within days, the roads minister had found emergency funding and promised to build the footbridges. They built the footbridges in weeks. They started building it because citizens have said, we won't take this anymore. That is what it takes to move the politicians to fix a problem. If you leave it to the media, we'll talk to them. They'll say, I'm going to do PMS tonight, we'll talk. Nice talk. It doesn't move that needle. It takes people who are affected to hold their politicians accountable and demand action. Protests, petitions, somebody must move. Somebody must necessarily move. That's why when the former president says that we shouldn't be spectators but citizens, that is what it means, because that is what the politicians respond to. When people block roads in their communities, what happens? They go and fix it. At least you will see the earth movement equipment's there. When you sit down and complain and you write petitions and nothing changes. And I think it's with the flats too. The people in Alajo, Odona, areas, and now even the rich communities that you're talking about are being affected. That mobilization, citizen mobilization, to demand answers from their leaders is what will force this president, because he's seen this before. And if he doesn't fix it, nobody can, because he's his second coming. After all the 8 years that have gone by, he's seen it. He set up a committee the committee did work, great recommendations. Every June 3rd, Senor Jose and his people will go to the community and go and show us that even the people who were affected, and we said we're going to compensate them. Even that basic one, a lot of them have not been compensated. I mean, until that happens, the people themselves demanding directly from their leaders, these floods will continue, unfortunately. These deaths we're reporting, more have lost their lives in the past than this one. And unfortunately, more lives will be lost. If not this year, next year, unless and until the citizens themselves decide to do something, hold their politicians accountable.
Right, that's how we end our coverage of the flooding situation in the Greater Accra region. Whatever you do, make sure you stay safe. My name is Gemma Appiah. Thank you for watching.
Please, do you have relatives here?
I have relatives over here, but we have managed to rescue all of them.
You've been able to rescue all of them. But what do you feel about this particular issue?
Because as you know, the region is not good. Everything is not good. That's the system. So because if you have a lot of rain, you full up, you know. So you can't do nothing about it. This is all you mean. Yes.
So your brothers and your sisters at around. It's in your maybe and your person in some nephew. Wow, do you ever check to be Kosronum, Eba, Edi Agroko, Alajo, Polo Junction, and Yasim Kuma. Just say, baby, age no. Ya, near day, no, and ya was saying, and I, ya was saying, so ya try say, you animal bang got and it's no. Ebeshe, in Sony, at Sinabibia, in Sony Chichina. No monya den sha ne ma omonya den omuyi kiosk no omo bensu na no onse o sha enso na yiri o enso na yiri ama o sha ase ni na sha enso na yiri ama chese enkofo nwama ase enso tope na chese bibia ase e wo se ekọ ejuma o ye mu se wo se by this time ye wo ejuma but ye wo ha ye de nwama ye den ya kan nwama ni na ase ene ye wa nti no yenso no emmoa ye wo se ye den yɛboa yɛ nuane mu ne mpanimfoɔ ɔmo nso ɔmo a ɔmo yɛ dɛn ɔmo a ne yɛ maame mu ne yɛ sisters ne yɛ aunties ne mu ɛgya wa de w'ani tuo mu a yɛgu so yɛwɔ mu.
Yeah, so at the moment, business has been grounded to a halt at this particular area because of the flooding situation. Many businesses, in fact, some of the people tell me that their businesses have been destroyed. All their provisions have been destroyed by the water at the moment, and it's not still a very easy situation at this particular point. And as I was saying, I can see a lot of waste. Being carried by the water here. That tells you clearly that people dump refuse into some of this.
Baby, I risky cry. Baby, I know a chauffeur is your baby. I say, but you feel Hannah. I feel Hassy. So, no, I have to say. Oh, you're that damn in I am, and to me, I fash you. You are too pronumu, and to me, fash. In the Adinam has and Chinko from Cacre. Near to me, rather, near got ye near me. What's in penny for a way? Omo my gota, no gota, no boya, be back to ye. Once I got an Hannah, a yellow cake, Accra, and to Moya Hannah, a bad. This woman tells me that her room has been inundated by the water, and at the moment everything has been destroyed by the rainwater. And what she wants the authorities to do is to work on this bridge, expand this bridge in order to contain the huge volumes of water that pass through this area. You are a local here, a resident here. Yeah. What do you make of the situation?
Oh, the water is very, very, very bad. And the way the rain too has spoiled a lot of things. And this particular gutter that we are talking about is the main problem that we are facing here. You see this gutter, when they do this gutter for us, our problem will solve. This gutter, they have to do it for us. Because this gutter is the main problem. Because if you see here, there is no pressure like that. But if you see here, there's a lot of pressure. And you see the building too, you have poured a lot of things. So they have to watch and do this gutter for us. That's what I have for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So this is the situation here at Alajo at the moment.
Because of the bridge. Mamu nya gata no. Mu raise bridge we keke. Asan aha for humbeto mu. Wo da mu say aha nso no be prim ha. Na san echi. Mu hwe ha aha da form. Aha yiri. Because of this, they be amu share quote say quote. Munya bridge nu keke asan. Munya bridge na bibia be san. Ah, debia nso yiri a na mo be try na mo di ko. Debia mo be report na mo di ko. Debia na mo be report na mo di ko na mo be mo pressure no be ya tasu. Mo be report na mo di ko asan. Adai.
Because her room too, almost everything here has been destroyed by the water. Her mattress is all drenched, it's wet at the moment, and even for her, according to the husband, she's been taken somewhere at the moment with the kids and all of that. So almost everything in this room has been destroyed by this particular situation. So please, what do you want and in fact, let me put it on record that because of the flooding situation, there's no light here at the moment. So we'll talk to him just to appreciate what he makes of this particular issue, and also what kind of support would he need from the authorities. In fact, he told me that he's not seen something like this for a very long time, and this is happening at the moment, and he is very concerned about this particular development that has affected thousands of other people across Alajo and its environs. So let me talk to you. So what kind of support? Almost everything, all their gadgets, they tell me, have been destroyed by this particular situation. So you see these people here, they are trying to scoop out the water in order that they are told allegedly that this is through the person was electrocuted this particular afternoon, following the heavy floods that have inundated this particular area. NADMO officials are here and they are trying to remove the dead body from this particular room. What we are told is that there's so much water inside the room, and basically they want to first of all make sure that the water is out. The water is out of the room before they can get the person. They can take the dead body out of this particular place. And as I speak with you, NADMO officials are here in their numbers trying to do this particular situation. We will speak with the NADMO just to appreciate what is currently happening here in relation to this particular development. I would speak with the NADMO right now. But a lot of people are here at the moment, and they are all observing this particular situation. And this is the second body that the officials here are trying to retrieve from this particular house. In fact, where we are right now is close to the other place where another person died at the moment, and it's been a very sad situation for a lot of the people here. At Alajo. We will try to speak with the NADMO just to get to appreciate what is happening here currently. Just to appreciate what is currently happening here at Alajo. Madam, thank you very much. You are live on Joy News. You are live on Joy News. Talk to us about this particular situation. What is happening here?
Okay, there is a man trapped inside. He's dead. Elichikite. That is my director. But okay. Hello, boss.
All right, so let's speak with the director.
This pressure, then this thing. Let me finish this thing. This is more.
What is happening?
I just came. So you were here before I came. So you are asking me what is happening.
So the NADMO director doesn't want to comment on this. But you were here earlier before your boss. What is happening?
There's a guy inside. He's been electrocuted. Yeah, he's dead. We were passing to go through another place, Alajo North. One of our officers is being trapped inside. She can't even come out. So we were going there. On our way, the residents told us that someone is trapped inside. So one of our guys entered, and it's true, the guy is dead inside. He's been electrocuted. Yeah.
And I'm told that there's so much water inside the room. Is that the case?
Yes. That is why they are using the hammer to bring the waters outside. Yeah.
It's a very sad situation here. She was here earlier before her boss came. Her boss just arrived at the moment. He is still assessing the situation, and he would also be talking to us about what is happening here at the moment. This is the second body that the officials are trying to retrieve from this house, and we are told that the person was electrocuted due to the mountain flooding that has inundated this particular area. Let's try to speak with some residents just to appreciate what they make of this particular situation. But so,
I just came here.
Just arrived here. So we'll get to speak with more people just to appreciate what they make of this particular situation. But do you know the person?
It's my neighbor.
It's your neighbor?
Yeah, it's my neighbor.
But what really happened?
Okay, actually, in the morning when we saw that the flood is coming, we all get out from our rooms, and then maybe even the first one who just died. He told us that maybe he's going to the room to take his TV, and then we said, okay, don't go. And he said, no, let me go and save my TV. Okay, so when he went there, the time we realized, he said the person is dead. So we decided not to go unless maybe you call ECG to off the light before we can able to save it. And for the second one, we came to knock the door, but there was no response. So we just leave it like that. And recently, we just saw these people. He said they should come and check the room so that they can know what is going on there.
What you want to say?
Mimi just said, I didn't see you. I brought back when I did the first one. On na ni TV, so ni buy no. Later on, I realized the TV want to kwaku yi. Ti okọ na on plug na light was so. Ke also on say light ni so. Omu nhia ntin ke also on jai. After bibi ananka de ase na ase. Ba wentie ni bra ka chen wentie okọ yi no. Okọ on plug ni na. Echi no so. Omo na omo around that time na me bra me di we mu. Omo so omo di echira. Omo kwa electrify into obi anko. Ti o nsuo mu with shock ni saa ti say omo dum light no ansa na omo kwa omo ko yi na omo ne ba ni wewu. Ana later say omo asan realize say your tenant bi o nhyɛ da mpie saa. Ba ye hu ni ye. Ntini e bia wo ho ana oni ho. before we be una say we no one we nya ne shock ne dada we wu dada ni enim nti se si ana isuo ne ti ye na nkofo chi no ansa e be like say de ye kan nyina e yampa a ba ko san de e hye ha sei nti eno no mo yi ni sisi ano
na me ti de pa se na me so me hye inside obi na tenant a ye wo fie nim so what I say nti ye won inside and so ne dey full pressure e bad dining no na ye ntem say be den ye be pie nti me ti say oye de dining because me hwa electrify as electricity na den ache no so nti no ni obia nipa bia ntimi nya den emmo nra enko ye den enko je ne nkwa so na second boy no so no na ye ni na ejina Accra mpo na o say o call back akoye den akotu ni TV aba so no so okoy na like electric na ye den eche no ejina o ti eche na ECG phone ye den almost omudum light na ekoyi ni pie ko ni pie when I like getting a call hospital so the AC wa no na ye nua ba ko so show ye find ways and means e be yin afiri.
So basically what he's saying is that this morning they had this person crying for help and then they couldn't go inside the place to help him because they all realized that it was because of the electricity. So they couldn't go inside, and then later on they couldn't hear anything. The other person too, he said he was going inside his room to, unplug his television set. He went inside and he never returned. He's also gone. So 2 people dead here at Alajo at the moment, and it's because of this particular situation. Let me speak with a lot more people. But you ensure we know how say.
Nti se wan dwane am free with them an lucky puna dwane an eche se bibi boni ato. Nti e basa na yiri wa na wa lucky wupunu na wa dwane akọ. Nti enim de ye nua bemba no ye na onu de wantimi an dwane na eyiri no ekun no. Ba ku nso awo afie ba ku no nipa tu na awi. Ewia we ya no pa we ya ye nim de ekoso. Na e basa. Nsuo no basa eyiri nyina yiro anka mutimi ngina ho eyiri hwe unse me hu nyina afo eyiri ye nti e basa nyina edwane kosoro nti we yentimi hu so nde wa da o se den o na e ba.
So this woman here basically said that this is a very troubling situation, and all of them went through that. In fact, I was here myself. It was really very serious for us to even cross to this side because of how serious the flooding situation was. And just within one house, 2 people have lost their lives, and we are told that they were electrocuted. At the moment, the NADMO officials are still trying to remove the dead body from this particular house. And in fact, what they are trying to do is to first of all make sure that they draw out the water. We're told that there's so much water inside the room, so they are trying to make sure that they get out the water before they are able to remove the dead body. But you were here earlier, and apart from this particular situation, talk to me about the general flooding situation at Alajo.
It's bad.
How serious was it?
It's bad. Alajo has been a flood-prone area. It's very bad. And this continues, you see this heavy downpour was continuous. So it has caused, people's house have been submerged. It's bad. I don't know what to say, but Alajo has been a flood-prone area since. But then this situation is too much because the downpour continued. It didn't stop. It rains and it will stop a little bit, then it will continue heavily and those things. So
I understand that you've rescued so many people. Where have you taken them to, and what's the plan for them going forward?
It's the hospital. The other guy, the first guy, you heard there were 2 guys in the hospital, but they were here and they called them from the hospital that the guy has passed away.
But I also understand that other people were also trapped in the water, the flood waters. NADMO has to rescue them and has taken them to some places. Where are they at the moment?
Okay, as at now, within my constituency, Ayawazo Central Municipal Assembly, no, I don't know of any. Maybe it's other assemblies. But here they've been able.
So they need to solve this problem now. They shouldn't wait for anything else. They should solve this problem. It's about the bridge. That's the situation here.
Earlier, I was told that someone died, and his death is connected to this particular development here. He was electrocuted right here, and as it was because of this particular issue, a lot of people were trapped. But at
your brothers and your sisters at around. It's in Yama BCA, and your person in some airfield. Why would you ever check to be Kosronum, Eba, Edi Agroko, Alaju, Polo Junction, and Yasim Kuma, just a young baby age no. Ya near day, no, and ya was saying, and I, ya was saying so, ya try say, you animal Ben got and it's no, a beshe in Sony at Sinabibia in Sony Chichina. No munya day. Yes, sha near more munya day, or muyi kiosk, or momo ben sunano. Once a sha, and soon a yirio, and soon a yama, sha, seen na, soon a yama said, and Cofonia say, and so to penetrate Bibia said, I will see a quajumao. You must say by this time you were Juma, but Yawaha, Yadinama, then ya can't yamin in Ashe, any wines, no, Yansuno, and why I was say a day. Your boy, your animal, any penny for most or more, how more day. Or more near my money, yes, sisters, near cinema. Is our do any to my Yagusu?
Yeah, so at the moment, business has been granted to a hold at this particular area because of the flooding situation. Many businesses, in fact, some of the people tell me that their businesses have been destroyed. All their provisions have been destroyed by the water at the moment, and it's not still a very easy situation at this particular point. And as I was saying, I can see a lot of waste. Being carried by the water here. That tells you clearly that people dump refuse into some of this.
Baby, I risky cry. Baby, I know a chauffeur is your baby. Say, I obey so you but you feel Hannah. I feel so I have to say. Oh, you're that damn in I am and to me, I find you. You're too pronomu and to me, factory. In the idea, has and chink off from Kake. Near to me, rather, near got ye near me. What's in penny for a way? Boy, my gota, no gota, no boy, be back to ye. Once I got a Hannah, my okay, Accra, and your Hannah, about boy.
This woman tells me that her room has been inundated by the water, and at the moment everything has been destroyed by the rainwater. And what she wants the authorities to do is to work on this bridge, expand this bridge in order to contain the huge volumes of water that pass through this area. You are a local here, a resident here. Yeah. What do you make of the situation?
Oh, the water is very, very, very bad. And the way the rain too has spoiled a lot of things. And this particular gutter that we are talking about is the main problem that we are facing here. You see this gutter, when they do this gutter for us, our problem will solve. This gutter, they have to do it for us. Because this gutter is the main problem. Because if you see here, there is no pressure like that. But if you see here, there's a lot of pressure. And you see the building too, you have poured a lot of things. So they have to watch and do this gutter for us. That's what I have for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So this is the situation here at Alajo at the moment.
Because of the bridge. Mamu nya gata no. Mu raise bridge we keke. Asan aha for hu beto mu. Wo da mu say aha.
So this strategy will lead. Oh no, not again.
Sir, relax. The generator will come on now.
The generator is not working.
Why stress yourself when the experts are just one tap away? Introducing Left Power, the smart emergency support app from Left Signature Limited. With Left Power, certified engineers respond fast, anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stories.
Hello, sir. This is Left Signature Limited. The request has been received and our engineers are already on their way. Please relax. We've got you covered. The
place is professional. Every left expert is certified, verified, and can be tracked in real time. Oh, you'll know they're coming before they even arrive. From electrical engineering and solar power systems to data center management, cloud services, smart automation, and software development, Left Signature delivers excellence, fast, reliable, and professional. Left Power.
Your solution is just one tap away. Available on Play Store and App Store.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
In the first quarter of 2026, Telecel Ghana Foundation continued its commitment to connecting communities through health and education. In health, the focus was simple: bringing care closer to the people who need it most. From cervical cancer screenings in partnership with Kolebu Teaching Hospital to community-wide medical outreach in Yeji and Chamba and free ultrasound services for expectant mothers in underserved regions, hundreds of women gained access to essential care. With free NHIS registration, that support extended even further. In education, the focus shifted to the future.
We are very grateful for bringing us these kits. That is going to give us an exposure to robotics and other engineering areas.
Thank you, Telecel! Through the Telecel Digitech Academy, hundreds of students across 5 regions were equipped with practical skills in coding, robotics, and web design, building real solutions to real problems. With a strong emphasis on inclusion, young girls were also introduced to digital skills through the Grow Girls in STEM program. Because when access meets opportunity, communities don't just grow, they thrive.
We hope that many of these young ones will have the interest in STEM activities.
It's more than just a ceremony for us all. It is a moment we will remember for a very long time.
As the journey continues, so does the commitment to connect, to empower, and to transform lives across communities.
It doesn't take much to protect what we love. Sometimes it begins with prevention. Care is not always loud. It is attention, caution, and doing small things right.
Fire safety starts with me, being careful every day.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie!
Tastes great!
More Kivo inside, more to share. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix, Taste of Ghana.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100-100-100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Did you know that Ghana spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced right here at home? That's why the Joy brands, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters (FAGE), are bringing you Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, Joy Prime, and across Joy Business platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Since the beginning of June, we have engaged policymakers, industry leaders, researchers, agripreneurs, and development partners, exploring government policy, trade, and financing for food sovereignty, highlighting research, innovation, and mechanization. We have also examined infrastructure, value addition, youth participation, and agricultural financing as critical drivers of sector growth. In week 4, our focus turns to vast opportunities across Ghana's horticultural value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM, Joy News, and Joy Prime. The Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 is proudly sponsored by Agro Monte Company Limited. We understand Agric and Ghana Commodity Exchange, trade, storage, financing, all in one place. That's GCX, powering Africa's commodity markets.
Hi, it's me. The one you poke, sip, and hopefully love. I'm your small reminder that growing up doesn't mean growing out of me. Trends come and go, but you still reach for me. I'm not just a drink, I'm that little sip that reminds you life can still be sweet. Calipo Fruit Juice Drink, making sweet memories. This advert is FDA approved.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
On PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today and you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes. Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay 570, and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
The city had one of its most dramatic years in recent memory. It opened 2025 at 14 cities, 70 pesos to the dollar. By February, it had weakened slightly to 15 cities, 50 pesos. It stayed there until April, one of the longest periods of stability in more than a decade. Then came the surprise. Between April and May, the city shot up. It strengthened from 15 cities, 50 pesos to 10 cities, 30 pesos in just 5 weeks. From May through July and into early August, it held steady between 10 cities, 30 pesos and 10 cities, 50 pesos. But by mid-August, the tide turned. In only 3 weeks, it slipped to 12 cities. That has made it one of the worst performing currencies in the third quarter of 2025. External conditions have not changed much. In fact, they remain in Ghana's favor. Gold prices are at a record high. The United States dollar is still subdued, and the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates soon. Normally, these will support the city. The pressure instead is domestic. Remittances are one of Ghana's most reliable sources of dollars. But this year, they slowed. Here's why. In April, sending $1,000 got you about 15,000 cedis, enough to buy around 150 bags of cement. By May, the same $1,000 fetched just 10,000 cedis, barely enough for 100 bags. With the money